Well, this is going to be a quick little build. Probably one video long. What we're going to build here is a thing for our glorious table to have. We don't need that part off. Okay. So we can have a place to suck up the dust from the saw here. But this piece is missing when I got this thing. I ordered a piece. Supposedly it would have been for the saw, but apparently it's not. So we're gonna have to make one, and we're gonna make it out of this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a slit right down the middle, take a heat gun, soften it up, flatten this out, and an 1.25 inch piece. Not this part. This part's too fat, but the actual piece of pipe fits pretty good for this end, so it'd basically be an adapter for that to here. We're gonna flatten this out. I've already kind of made a like a template for this, which we'll copy and cut out of this and just mount it, and that'll be it. So let's get to work and we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll up. Maybe this will be the one I'll lose a finger. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. Time to cut like a rock star. We're just eyeball it. You want to, if you're gonna do something like this, you can make a straight line if you want, but it doesn't matter anyways because I'm gonna be cutting around it. I just need to split this so it could be flat. Alright, obviously, we're cut through. Got a cut. Now we're going to go get the heat gun. We're at the cluttered workbench. All we need is this area. Got a heat gun here. Going to soften up the plastic. I'm going to do it on this piece of broken ceramic. Ceramic is good if you're working with high heat because it absorbs heat. Think about the space shuttle's black tiles. Those things were basically ceramic and sand. But they're not totally. I mean, I sweat pipes on this stuff too if I'm playing with my torch. I even use the yellow nap gas. I don't really care for the blue bottle. It's a lower temperature. But when I'm playing with copper and that stuff, I prefer the yellow can. This thing will deal with the heat pretty well, but if you hold it on one spot, it can still crack. So keep that in mind. But if you're working with torches and high heat and you want to protect everything else around it, just go get a piece of tile from like Home Depot or something. Doesn't have to be special. Just get a cheap piece of ceramic, not porcelain, ceramic. So let's get the heat gun going. Just kind of don't hold it all in one spot because then you'll basically melt it and have a hot spot and a cool spot on one end, and it won't form better. You want to soften this up all the directions other than the main part itself. Actually, when I'm thinking about it, it might be good out of my scrap pieces. That way I don't warp this in the process because we want to keep that together. I mean, all we really want to soften is from here and here and on up. I want to kind of make this flat. Even do a little bit on the inside. Actually, I didn't bring anything to pry it open with. That's hot. Let me see if this little screwdriver here might help. That's great. But it is soft. not soft enough. Do some more work. We want this like putty. Got a coal or something to shove in here. Open it. That would be fantastic. It's getting softer. It's like it is not soft enough yet. Let's just work it out wider. It needs like a butt cheese spreader. Really needs like a wedge. Just yeah, that's kind of what I got. I'd rather have something. Do need something here to. Oh, that's an idea. Huh. Okay. So I gotta wind up where I can just put this piece of ceramic, a little overhang, wedge in between. I'll heat this up. This and work one side at a time. That should work. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, I think I'm gonna need a cigarette after this. To the other side. This part is not as warm as the other side. There we go. Piece of air action. There we go. It wants to spring back, so we can't let that happen. So we're probably going to have to put some weight and press the damn thing to see what we can do. Work around the center. Pressure right here. Manipulate it some more. they work. Okay. What I'll do right now is let this cool on its own, and then probably have to do some more heating just to deal with this, and then we'll try to get it flat as we can. Somewhere I have my template on how we're supposed to cut it out. Basically, I'm just going to cut it off and draw it on the back side here, drill a couple holes where it's supposed to screw in, and basically the hose fits on a piece like this and rock and roll. All right, be right back. So what I did next was took a scrap piece of paper, kind of traced around it, and just made like a template for the opening that's going to go onto the piece. But you want to make sure you want to flip it over in mirror side. Now on this piece there's that dip, there's nothing I can really do about it. So what I did is I try to make sure where the screw holes are going to be is going to be on the flattest spot. Laid it straight over and just kind of eyeballed and marked it all the way around till I had something rough like that. Then I'm just going to cut it out. I'm going to leave it fat, a little extra, and just trim around that. Probably put some sealant, some type of caulking or something over it, wherever this is, and just kind of make a seal. All right, I'm going to cut this out here and we're going to test fit it. Well, cut it out, it's roughly cut out. I went ahead and drilled where the screws go, and these are the screws that go into it. And when I put the screw into it, there's really not much play, and this one is like kind of off because of how close it is going to be over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my belt sander, just going to run it, and I'm just going to kind of plane the bottom of it about half, so that way there's more threads for this. And I'm just going to take my drill and just kind of bore out the side a little bit on this, so that way there's a place for the screw head to go through, kind of make it a little bit countersink just on this side. This side's got plenty of room over here, but just over here, so that will fit better. So that's next. All right, I created a little countersink groove in it. It actually fits quite nicely, as I'll show you. Put the screw in here. A little niceness, it's down in there. And I'll show you kind of how I did that. I did it with the old drill press. So I put a bit in it that it's somewhat fatter than what the screw head's going to be. You know, I turned it on kind of like this, and then since I already had a hole pre-drilled, you just gotta go up to it. Kind of did it by hand at an angle like this, and just slowly work it, and then up in there like that, and it kind of gave that little groove. And the important thing was not to go too aggressive, because once you go too far, that's it, you're screwed. So that's how that one was created. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plane this a little bit down, so just because of the screw head, so I have some more meat and threads for it to go into the saw, and then we'll figure out how to eliminate this gap. Sure, while I'm here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It all lines up kind of nice and neat, but then you'll have, you know, a gap like this one up here, and of course there'll be one down there. I think as soon as I plane this flatter so I can get the screws in there, I'll kind of screw it in, and probably just take a piece of tape and just kind of tape it to the edge, and then unscrew it, and then fill it with something and use the tape as kind of like a guide. I'll show you when we get to that phase, but let me deal with this first and then we'll do that. Okay, I went ahead and flattened this down a little bit. As you can tell, I just used my belt sander only for about a couple seconds. got it to where I want it to be. And I went ahead and screwed it onto the thing, and then I just wrapped some of this foil tape, which is really great to use for something like this because it keeps its shape. You can mold it to however you want it to be. So next thing I'm gonna do is I got some of this black RVT left over. I think anything like silicone base would be fine. I just have some of this lying around, so I'm just gonna use it. Just gonna fill in the dips here and flatten it up to here and here, and just let it dry overnight and put it on tomorrow. Right, and you'll see it in a sec. Okay, now we just let this dry overnight, and then I'll go ahead and screw it in. Let me just go ahead and find something to plug the hole right through real quick. And which will be on the next little shot, you'll see it attached. But for me, I'm gonna have to wait, so I'm gonna go find something to do. Okay, it's the next day. I went ahead and just screwed it on. I decided I'm just gonna leave that tape on there anyways. It's no need to take it off. So here it is in place. I'm actually kind of liking it. Now I just needed to do is get a longer hose for it to reach, and the way this thing is supposed to fit, it actually fits on the main tube itself and not really the, you know, the pieces that you put on the ends. It fits on the inner diameter of the main 1.25 inch pipe. So I'm also thinking about just getting a 45 or something as well, and get another one of these hoses as part of the whole work table build, which I needed to do anyway. It's just one of this and just longer length. And I'll consider this quick little project done. So I'm actually quite pleased with it. There's not much of a gap. I mean, yeah, there could be a little bit of a gap, little whatever. It doesn't have to be a super perfect seal, but not like what it was before. So other than me just running off and doing that, I don't think there's no need to go ahead and show you figures on what it looks like to put a hose into a pipe. If you want to do that, you can do that on your own damn time. So this video is a wrap. So take care. Happy whacking.